this is a very interesting conversation because I feel like I'm learning a lot about myself, about my childhood.
We're only a couple minutes in.
Yeah, I know. This is going great, Rachel.
I'm Rachel Martin, and this is Wildcard, the game where cards control the conversation. Each week, my guest chooses questions at random from a deck of cards. Pick a card 1 through 3. Questions about the memories, insights, and beliefs that have shaped them. My guest this week is Huy Quan. There's a moment in Huy Quan's new movie, Love Hurts, where his character, this assassin turned real estate agent named Marvin, tells his assistant to find something she loves and then go after it. I couldn't help but see real parts of Key's life reflected in this idea. Here's this guy who came to America as a refugee from the Vietnam War. He lucked into an audition in Los Angeles at 13 years old and got super famous as Harrison Ford's young sidekick in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Right after that, he played Data in Goonies, the kid with all the gadgets. These were huge movies with a massive cultural footprint even today. But he stopped getting roles after that. No one would have blamed him if he just quit Hollywood altogether. But Key had found the thing that he loved. And he didn't let the fact that one path closed stop him from getting the life he wanted, including an Oscar for his role in Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. I am so very excited to welcome Huy Quan to Wildcard.
Wow, Rachel, that's a great bio.
Your story is so incredible. I mean, I know it's out there a lot because you won the Oscar and you've been in the culture in a big way since then. Many people may have heard it, but it still just bears repeating that you just beat a whole lot of odds to get where you are. And I'm just so thrilled to have
it's
you.
pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we're going to get a chance to talk about your new movie in a few minutes, but I'm just going to get right into our game if you're up for it.
Yes, and I know you have some really tough questions in that deck.
They're not tough, Key. They're require a little
deep questions.
Yeah, they require a little thought. It's the good stuff.
Yes, let's go for it. I'm actually looking forward to it.
First 3 cards. 1, 2, or 3.
I'll pick the first one.
The first one, number 1. What activity gave you a sense of freedom as a child?
Ooh. Wow, taking me back to my childhood. I love this. Hide and seek. I loved playing hide and seek when I was, when we came to the United States as immigrants, my parents, pretty much gave up everything they had to get the entire family here. Mm-hmm. So when we were living in Los Angeles, we didn't have money to buy toys. And we didn't have much friends. It took us a little while to assimilate into this, and acclimate to this new life.
Yeah.
And my family was my friends. My neighbor were my friends, and we didn't have much. So we would, on weekends, we would play hide and seek. And we would just run around, and I would always, find a spot that nobody can find me. And while I'm hiding in that spot, it felt like I can do anything. I can be anywhere.
You had a lot of siblings, right?
I have a lot, 8 siblings, 9 of us total. The age gap between the oldest and the youngest is really big.
Yeah.
So my friends were my little sister and my little brother.
What about that experience, the hiding, felt free to you?
I think, sometimes, I don't know, it's weird. Like when I was a kid, a lot of times I'm just pensive. I spent a lot of time sitting at the sofa and just looking out the window and daydreaming. Dreaming of, really, anything and everything. I don't know why. I was always like that when I was a kid. So me finding a spot and hiding and being alone, being by myself, and a lot of times in the darkness too. It's weird. This is a very interesting conversation because I feel like I'm learning a lot about myself, about my childhood.
We're only a couple minutes in.
Yeah, I know. This is going great, Rachel. That's a great question. I don't know if I have an answer for that.
But the dark was somehow comforting too. Yeah, being alone.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Next 3. I learned a lot. Okay. 3 new cards. 1, 2, or 3.
We'll go with the second one.
Number 2. What's something your parents taught you to love?
Love myself. They were great parents. My mom is still here. My mom always says, believe in yourself. You are your worst enemy if you don't believe in yourself. Especially given, our background, how we started, how we came here. And it's pretty remarkable. I mean, I look at my entire family, all my siblings are very successful in business, and they all started with nothing. We all came here with nothing. In fact, my parents were heavily in debt when we came here. So me getting, getting this incredible opportunity to be an actor at 12 years old, and what my first movie has done for me when it came out, I made some money.
This was
and that
Temple of
kind of
Doom?
helped.
This was the
This
Indiana
was Temple
Jones?
of This was Temple of Doom. And the money that I made, I was able to help, pay back some of the debts my parents owed. That they, the money that they borrowed to get all of us out here, because getting on that boat, it cost us like a lot of money. We paid in gold sheets. That's how we got on the boat in Vietnam, and then escaped to Hong Kong, and spent a year in the refugee camp there. And then luckily, the American government at that time was very generous, and they accepted us. So yeah, that was.
I mean, your parents were just incredible. It takes such fortitude and strength and courage on the part of your parents, and then to be able to instill that in you. They had to have believed it, that you love yourself, you can achieve anything, because that was true for them. They saw this as their goal, and they made it happen.
Yeah, and we were very lucky. Had they not believed in that themselves, there was no way that all of us would be able to come here. We got here. All of us are alive and well. I mean, we know a lot of families that were not so lucky making that journey. A lot of people died. So to see how we got here, that entire journey, and also how much my entire family has accomplished, it's pretty remarkable.
Okay, thank you for that. I appreciate it. 3 new cards.
Okay.
1, 2, or 3.
I'll go with the third one.
The third one, equal opportunity. What's an early memory of appreciating beauty?
Earliest memory of appreciating beauty. Okay, I'm going to take one of those.
Oh!
Flip it on you first.
You're flipping it. Okay.
I want to hear your answer.
I have thought about what my answer would be to this. I just remember I was really young. I was probably like 5 or 6. And my mom had gotten like a parking ticket or a speeding ticket or something. And I remember being on the floor of my bedroom and looking up at her, and she had gotten dressed to go to traffic court. And she was wearing this brown sort of like silk fabric skirt with a little black pattern on it, little maybe sort of polka dots, and a matching shirt. And her hair, she had this black hair, and it was all out and beautiful. And she was wearing these wedge shoes. And I remember at a very young age just looking at her and thinking that she was the most beautiful. It makes me a little bit emotional to think about, because she's been gone a long time. But I remember looking at her and thinking that she was so beautiful, that my mom was such a beautiful person. So I have a lot of memories of appreciating beauty in nature, but that is the memory that comes to me when I think about an early moment of of seeing something beautiful or recognizing what beauty is? Yeah.
That is a great answer, Rachel. I don't know. I don't know if I have an answer as good as that.
It's not a competition, I promise.
I know. I would have to say my wife. I met her when she was 22 years old. We were in Shanghai, China at that time. And I remember I just got off the plane and I got to the office. I walked in and there were a few people in the office. And immediately my eyes went straight to her. She had long hair at that time. And she was beautiful. It was almost like love at first sight.
Really?
And the minute I saw her, I just wanted to get to know her. I just wanted to talk to her. And sure enough, that night, everybody from the office had dinner. And we were sitting next to each other, and all of a sudden, it seems like everybody else disappeared. It was just me and her. It was very cinematic.
I'm picturing it. Yeah,
where
it all goes black. All the other people.
Yeah, the camera pans around. And all of a sudden, everybody's gone. It's just me and her, and we ended up talking nonstop. We never ran out of things to say to each other. Even to this day, 22 years later, whether we're driving or at night, we would just have endless conversation, endless subjects to talk about. And to me, she was just the most beautiful woman on the planet.
That is the best answer. I love that. This message comes from Squarespace. Start a fully custom on-brand website with Squarespace's latest AI-enhanced website builder, Blueprint AI. After a few questions, their interactive design system transforms basic information about your brand or business into an elevated online presence with curated premium quality content automatically added and matched to your profile and aesthetic. Head to squarespace.com/wildcard for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Before we get into round two, let's talk about your movie a little bit. It's called Love Hurts. It is a very good time. You are at the top of the call sheet for this one, Key. This is your movie.
Can you believe that?
I mean, it's
number
so
one
great.
on the call sheet. Come on.
How does it feel? You've been at this a long time. You've been in Hollywood. You've been working away for 4 decades or so.
Yeah, 4 decades. First time in a big studio picture. It's again, it's that whole thing. Believing the impossible is possible. I remember when it was first offered to me. It was during the whole awards season leading up to the Oscar nominations. The script was sent to me, and I read it, and I thought it was incredible.
Yeah.
But there was one thing that kept me back was, as much as I loved the script, I didn't think I was right for it. I just couldn't see myself as Marvin Gable. In fact, I thought anybody could play him but me.
Why?
And it was not until later when I went into the office to meet with them, and they put on this beautiful slides of me, as Marvin Gable, and I just realized at that moment that, oh my gosh, I've been conditioned for decades to think that an action star needs to look a certain way.
Wow.
They need to look like Schwarzenegger or Stallone or Jason Statham, or Steven Seagal, anybody, all those types but me. And then it was in that moment I go, wow, I need to re-educate myself. I need to change my internal narrative that I can be Marvin Gable. And it was not until then that I realized. In fact, I struggled with it. I turned it down a couple of times.
Oh my God.
And of course, then I realized very quickly that they were trying to create a different type of action hero. They were trying to change the status quo.
Yeah.
And I just love the idea.
And it's powerful, Key, because you had to reframe your brain about who could be an action star, and you change for all those people watching. what it means to be a hero and a martial arts hero. Like,
Yeah,
you
it
do
was
some major
interesting.
butt kicking in this movie.
Yes. I studied martial arts, taekwondo for many years. I have a black belt. And when I was younger, I was a big fan of the action genre, especially the movies that came out of Hong Kong in the 80s with Jackie Chan,
Yeah.
Sammo Hung, and Yuan Bell. I was a big fan of those. And when I got my black belt, I was so eager to go out and show the world what I can do. But of course, Hollywood was not hiring actors like me to be an action star at that time. And sadly, I thought, I would have to put away those skills forever. But when I went to film school and started working behind the camera, those skills really came in handy.
Because you were like a stunt choreographer, right?
I was an action choreographer, yeah. And flash forward 2 decades later, I didn't know that one day I would be offered as a lead in a major studio picture. And it was what a exciting idea it is to put to make someone like me an action star.
It's so full circle for you to be able to do a role that is akin to something that Jackie Chan would have done, like movies that you watched when you were growing up. It's so
you know what? When I was younger, I really wanted to work with him. I really wanted to be in a movie with Jackie Chan and play his younger brother. That never came to pass. And since our trailer came out, so many people, in the comments says, he looks like Jackie Chan or he fights like Jackie Chan. And I think to me, that's one of the greatest compliments because, I've been a fan of his for a long time and he is an incredible martial artist. To be able to do Love Hurts, all my dreams, the dreams that I had when I was younger came true again. It's incredible.
Oh, it's so great. We are in round 2.
We'll start with the middle one.
1, 2, or 3. You're going number 2.
Yeah, 2.
Oh, okay. How big of a role does fear have in your life?
I love these questions.
I'm glad.
It does take up space in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I have fears, and everything that I do, I always look at it from different angles, and a lot of angles, gives me fear. Fear of failure, fear of not, making the best out of your life. I have a lot of fears in my life, but what's incredible is that my wife is the opposite of me. We are very different people. Mm-hmm. She has no fear. I have a lot of fear. So we kind of balance each other out. And every time my fear shapes my decision, she's always there to take that fear out of the equation. She's there to say, what if you take that out?
Can you do that?
Yes,
are you capable? Are you capable of removing it from the equation? Yeah.
And then the answer becomes very clear. It becomes very clear after that. Once when you take the fear out of the equation, then you'd be surprised of how many things that you're capable of.
Do you play that role for her too? Is it reciprocal in some way? Or can you take away her fear when it pops up?
It's interesting. I talked about what my parents has instilled in me. She's kind of the extension of my parents. She truly, truly believes that anything is possible.
Wow.
So she never needs advice from me. She's a very determined person. Let me give you an example. We always joke about this. Like, if I walk into a store to buy a pair of jeans, it would take me 20, 30 minutes. I would try them out. She goes in there in less than a minute. She knows what she wants, and then she's at the counter ready to pay. And I, on the other hand, I want to try it on. Does it look good?
No.
Yeah.
She is a woman after my own heart. I cannot stand to belabor the choice of a new pair of jeans. And you are exactly like my husband, who will spend hours and hours debating whether the boot cut or the skinny jean is the better idea.
But I'm slowly, I know what I'm really bad at, and I'm trying to learn from that.
There's a lid for every pot, as they say. Okay. 3 more cards. 1, 2, or 3?
We will start with the third one.
The third one, number 3. Let's do that.
Yes.
What is something you still feel you need to prove to the people you meet?
I always feel like I'm not good enough. I always have to prove that I think this is PTSD or something. I spent so many years auditioning for stuff, waiting in the audition room, trying to prove to filmmakers that I'm perfect for this role.
Yeah.
And the majority of the time, this is a story of many actors, not just me. I wouldn't get them. And then, of course, when I go watch a movie, when it comes out, the role that I auditioned for, I would say, oh, yeah, I understand why I didn't get that role because that actor is great in it. He's so much better than me.
Oh,
so I always feel like, so I think it stemmed from that. So even to this day, I still feel like I'm never good enough. But again, the internal narrative is slowly changing.
Yeah, I would hope that little gold statue in your house somewhere does some work in remedying that false narrative.
It's interesting. Like right after I won the Oscar, the next day, I woke up literally thinking, was that all a dream?
Really?
And we woke up and I was staring. I was staring at my wife, and I asked her, I said, wait, was yesterday a dream? And she said, no, you won an Oscar.
Okay, last one in this round. 1, 2, or 3?
I'll pick the first one.
First one. What have you learned to take less seriously?
All right, I'm going to do a flip on you. I want to hear your answer.
You can't flip it. You only got to flip once, but I like your perseverance.
Okay.
But you can skip it. You can skip it, and I can pick a different one.
Okay. I know. See, my mind is just drawing a blank right now, but I know I have a good answer for this. Everything I do, I take seriously. Everything, whether it's big or small. And sometimes, if I do a bad job, whether it's a bad take on a movie, or if it's just a task, a simple task that I do, I get mad at myself. Because in a lot of ways, I'm a perfectionist, or I strive to be as perfect as I can. And I think over the years, I've learned that, imperfection is perfection.
Yeah.
You don't have to be.
I mean, it just is, isn't it? We're
human beings. We're flawed, and it's okay to mess up. It's okay. To make mistakes and also to be not good at something. And because when you're not good at something, it gives you an opportunity to learn. Yeah. And I love learning.
Yeah.
I love learning. I think I heard it somewhere. I forgot who said it. The day you stop learning is the day that you are truly old.
Yeah.
Because if you want to feel young, you're still very determined to learn.
Is that a struggle for you to keep doing that? Is that a struggle for you to remind yourself, just chill, Keith, just chill?
Yeah, like for example, because how hard it is for me to be here. Now that I have the success, I worried. Honestly, I worried that it would go away. I worried that it would be, this is just a one-time thing. I've been down this road before.
Right.
As a kid. So
you feel like you have to keep your foot on the gas pedal, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Yes.
Yeah. This message comes from Squarespace. Squarespace makes it easy to manage your payments all in one place with Squarespace Payments. Onboarding is fast and simple. Get started in just a few clicks and start receiving payments right away. Plus, Give your customers more ways to pay with popular payment methods like Klarna, ACH Direct Debit, Apple Pay, and Afterpay. Head to squarespace.com/wildcard for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. We're going into the last round. This is beliefs. Okay, so beliefs, 1, 2, or 3?
I'm going to start with the third one.
This one over here.
Yeah.
Do you think there's order in the universe, or is it all chaos?
I have to believe in order. There is order in the universe. I'm a Buddhist. In Buddhism, it's all about, maintaining balance. So I everything is you have good, you have bad, you have up and you have down. Everything is balanced out. I do believe there's order. There's got to be. I have to believe in that.
Have you seen that play out in your life? Are you able to examine it, look back, and say, there is a pattern to these things. There is order.
I don't know if there's a I don't know if there's I would say a pattern, but what I do believe is that everything happens for a reason.
You do.
I do. You can always, especially looking at my own life story. Yeah, I learned so much along the way. And somehow I ended up where I really wanted to be. But then if you told me 4 years ago, I would not, I would not believe it. But when the opportunity of everything everywhere all at once came to me, I don't think I could have played that role, played the multiple versions of that role in that movie had I not had that journey.
Yeah, that feels like order. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see that. That feels like order. Okay. 1, 2, or 3?
I'll pick the second one.
The second one. Do you think there's any part of us that will live on after we die?
Yes. Through your loved ones' memories of us. When I always say, it's when you talk about death and all of that, when you die, it's the people that love you that are really sad, and they keep you alive through their memories. That's what I think.
Have your mom's still around? Your dad died how long ago?
My mom is still here. She's my dad passed away 24 years ago. And my mom, she's quite a woman. She's 87 years old. And she's still as active as ever. She loves going out. She loves the slot machines.
She does?
Yeah. She loves the slot machines. And she still believes that she's going to hit the jackpot one day.
I love that. See, that's where you get your optimism from, is your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, this has been so lovely. There's one more thing. We end the show the same way every time, with a trip in our memory time machine, okay? So here we are in the memory time machine. You get to go back to one moment from your past. It is not a moment that you would change anything about. It's just a moment you would like to linger in a little longer. What moment do you choose?
The year is 1993. I've spoken about this, so I can get through this without getting emotional. But it's when I auditioned for a role, a really tiny role that has no name. It's only 2 lines, and I was competing with 30 other Asian actors, and I was by the phone for an entire week waiting for my agent to call. And when it finally, it didn't ring, so I had to call my agent to find out whether I got that part. When I didn't, I was devastated. I was despondent. And the reason why I want to revisit that moment is because I don't ever want to forget and take things for granted, given everything that I get to enjoy now. Having starring in a Universal Studios movie, all the incredible things that has happened in the last couple of years. But it's very easy if you don't balance it out, your high points in life with your low points in life. It's very easy to forget who you are. It's very easy to take things for granted. It's very easy to have a big head, but never forget where you came from, because it humbles you. It makes you have empathy for other people who are going through the same thing that you went through. So yeah, that would be one moment that I would visit and hopefully tell my younger self, Key, don't worry. Key, don't worry. Everything's going to be okay. But you just have to wait 30 years, that's all.
I am just so thrilled to have gotten to do this with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.